Hi, I'm Phi, and I used to be just a normal guy, until one day, my life got flipped upside down. I feel like I didn't choose this path, I feel like this path chose me, and this path is becoming a modern-day shaman. I've been closed off to many people over the last 4 years while I've been on this journey, secluded, kind of secret in a way. Very few people have been along this journey with me, but now I'm here to open up to all of you and let you in completely, no holding back. I'm here to spread love and to get rid of the negative stigma behind entheogens, to prove that they are not the monsters that we've been taught, and done properly, they can do great things for the human psyche and for the human race on this planet. So I invite you all to come along this journey with me and philosophize with me and share with me your own philosophies. So buckle your seatbelts and enjoy the ride. Hi, I'm Phi. My friends call me Nature, but most of you guys already know that. So I want to apologize for not making a video anytime recently. It's been a little rough for me recently. Just moved into a new apartment last month, got everything settled. Been just kind of soul searching myself, looking inside of myself for more answers. And after my experience the other night, I definitely wanted to make a video and talk to you guys about it. I almost want to call this one Candy Flipping Through the Matrix, you know, in a way with inner alchemy. The experience was very interesting. It was my wife's birthday, and she wanted a candy flip, so we had some pure MDMA, some pure LSD, and we took 165 micrograms of LSD and 200 milligrams of MDMA. Now, we waited 30 minutes after taking the LSD between taking the MDMA, and the experience was already getting heavy for me about 5 minutes after we ingested the MDMA just from the LSD alone. So I knew this was going to be a very unique, heavy experience for myself. So all of a sudden, about 45 minutes after ingesting the L, I got this feeling like I wanted to throw up, but I decided to fight it, and I kept fighting it for a while until about the hour and 15-minute mark, which would have, been about 45 minutes after ingesting the MDMA. From that point, I purged. I threw up pretty hard, and it was honestly one of the greatest throw-ups of my life. After that, I was great. After that, it's like something picked me up and started pulling me around the room. Almost like I made a video from after my birthday back in November where I talked about it's like something jumped in my body and started dancing with me. Well, the same thing started happening again, this experience, except now I'm beginning to realize it's something different. It wasn't something else that jumped into my body and started controlling me. Now I'm, in a way, viewing this as my higher self is coming down and controlling me. And what happened in this experience, it was the same thing as last time, where I started spinning and dancing around the room very fast, and there was a couple times I knocked into things, but I stayed focused, and I kept telling myself, stay focused, and I did while I was doing this spinning dance around the room. And the reason I wanted to bring up the inner alchemy, it's because while doing this dance, it was like a Tai Chi type of dance where I'm spinning around in circles and bringing my arms up and down and flowing with them. And I'd spin around the room a couple times doing this dance, and it was almost like this spinning dance took every bit of negative energy that was within my own aura and took it and transmuted it into a more positive, higher vibration. And I had my wife do it too, and I really wanted to have her on this video too. But sadly she's working today, and the last 2 days we were just kind of trying to make sense of the whole experience, because it was definitely the deepest I ever took anything. However, after doing that a couple times and transmuting all this negative energy within myself, I was still going around the room doing this kind of Tai Chi movement and dancing, and I have a Muay Thai bag that I like to hit for my amusement and, just keep my mind occupied and try to stay in shape with a little bit. And I had part of this experience where it felt like I was completely out of my body, levitating in the room, while I was still completely in control of my body, doing Tai Chi around the room. So I began spinning around my Muay Thai bag while still doing these Tai Chi movements, and I was doing meditative breathing the whole time. It was like 3 or 4 seconds in, 3 or 4 seconds out, just and at one point, while I was in this meditation, the music slowed down. Everything around me slowed down. It looked like my wife was over there sitting on the floor moving in slow motion. And it was almost as if I was moving in slow motion too. But as I was moving slow motion around the bag, I just started throwing different strikes at it. And while I was flowing around hitting it with these strikes, it felt like I struck the bag about 50 times in this 6 to 8 seconds. And I'm not saying I did, and my wife can't really vouch for whether I did or not either. But it felt like I was in an absolute flow state where my higher self was moving my body to hit this bag. And I had someone else online give me an idea for what it was that I may have experienced. And it's possible he, I believe, called it quantum time dilation, where I was in such a deep state of mind I was experiencing time at a different rate. And it felt like I was moving around the room very fast. And what's crazy is, while I was doing it, I was aware of every movement I was making, but at the same time, like I said, it was like I was out of my body, observing myself making these movements. And what it literally looked like was, I know most of you have probably seen The Matrix. It looked like when Neo was in The Matrix and he realized he was the one, and that agent came after him and started swinging at him, and he was just blocking everything, and then he looks at his hands. It literally felt like I was in that state of mind. Now, what was hard to get there though, which I've never been able to get that far before, I have a real hard time letting go of things. My life path numerology number is 9, and one of the big things with 9s is learning to let go. And my wife is one of the hard things I have a hard time, or my wife's one of the things I have a really hard time letting go of, trying to get into these meditations. And this time, as I was getting in deeper and deeper into the meditation with the Muay Thai, not hitting the Muay Thai bag and doing the Tai Chi movements and spinning around, transmuting this negative energy within me, I kept wanting to come out of the trance and explain to my wife what it was that I was doing, so I didn't just look like an idiot spinning around the room. But I had to tell myself, pay no attention to her, she doesn't exist. The only thing right now that exists is you and your mind. You are all that is. And once I focused on that, I was able to take my trance so much deeper than I ever had before. And I had another gentleman online talk to me about how he believes LSD is the alchemist's drug. And I'd have to agree with it so much, because there's so much you can do on just one hit that's 165 micrograms to push the experience so much deeper yourself. To feel a sense of freedom that you've never felt before, by be it dancing, whether it's yoga, whether it's meditating, whether it's Tai Chi, you know, anything, type of flow. It can really take the experience and make you feel more free in a way that you never have before. It's like imagine it a freedom from the Matrix. So, it was a very deep experience for me, because after that, after I really cleansed myself of the negative energies and got into that deep trance and was able to let go of the idea of my wife even being here to get into this state of mind, the only truth that came to me in this experience again was love. And every time I get into a deep state of mind, the only truth I get about anything is love. It's myself and love. And each time I go deeper, it's like I understand the idea of love more. And as I was spinning around the room doing the Tai Chi, there was moments where I was speaking gibberish, or what I like to call elf or light language. But at the same time, I was also speaking English, and I was reciting words out loud to my wife so she could hear them as well. It's like I was just speaking my thoughts to get them out. And as I was spinning around, I was in such a deep trance, and the flow state had me saying things that I'd never said before, and it had to do with love being it. Love is everything. Love is all that there is, and love can literally change this planet. Love is a vibration. Fear is also vibration. And I'm going to get into ego again for a moment, because ego has been on my mind a lot. And my friend Mr. Mark Jane Cubensis, he's also my roommate, he likes to talk about how the ego is a love blocker. And I like to say he's absolutely right. In a way, the ego holds us back from feeling this universal love. It doesn't want us to attain it. It wants to be having you feeling these negative vibrations all the time because it doesn't want you to feel what this vibration of love feels like. And in a way, it will actually have you afraid of feeling this love. And an example of that I can use is after I came out of my trance. My wife said she was in pain. She had a lot of pain in her body, and all that was she was literally feeling all of the negative vibrations within her. And I had to almost trick her, you know, into, or manipulate her in a positive way into simply just getting up and dancing to transmute those positive, or those negative energies into positive energies. And once she did, she was really glad she did. But what's crazy is I even had to explain to her that was your ego holding you back from getting up and simply having a good time. She was terrified to simply get up and dance, and she couldn't explain why. Because her ego was holding her back from feeling this universal love when all she had to do was get up and dance. It was that simple, and I almost had to speak to her like a child, like, oh, come on, you're going to be okay, you'll be fine. It's okay, come on, just get up and dance, you'll feel much better. And in a way, it's like I tricked her into getting up and healing herself in a way that I healed myself right before doing that. And I'm not saying I'm 100% healed. In the shaman's journey, he has to heal himself before he can heal anybody else, but I'm learning along the journey. And I've learned that what I did in that trance literally, in a way, healed me of all my negative vibrations. I was feeling a lot of negative vibrations before this experience. There's just been a lot going on in my life, and I wasn't in a vibration of love. And after this experience, it really put me back in that vibration. And I'm going to do everything I can to remain in that vibration. But it really is interesting to me how her ego tricked her into being afraid to simply to get up and dance so she would not feel this love. Love is powerful. I'm not a religious person, but in my opinion, if you take the mindfulness that Buddha spoke of and mix it with the love that this Christ character spoke of, you got it, man. Love is more powerful than any of us can imagine, and love is not what we as human beings think it is. It's not a sexual thing towards one another, like you have to have sexual relations with somebody to love them. Love is a very powerful energy. It's as simple as seeing somebody down and helping them out. That's showing love. That's an energy. And the more you put that out, the more that energy is going to come back, because we're like these little universal radio antennas that receive the same type of energy that we put out. So if we're constantly putting out negative energies and negative vibes, then the universe is only going to respond to us with these negative vibes. The sooner we begin to change ourselves and change the vibrational frequencies that we emit, the sooner the vibrational frequencies that come back at us will begin to change. And I'm beginning to notice it more and more as I get older. I just turned 27 back in November, so the last 5 years of my life has been amazing in how far I've come and noticed with all these ideas that these psychedelics have thrown at me. Now, another interesting idea that happened to me while I was doing my Tai Chi meditation, when I was moving slow motion around the room, or when I looked like Neo in the Matrix, there's a small part I left out. I've always had, and it comes from my childhood, what got put into my head. I've always had a slight fear of police. And you know, no one likes to admit their fears, and it's not like I'm terrified of them, but I've always had a slight fear of them for whatever reason. Maybe it's because I smoke weed here and there, or, you know, drop LSD or eat some mushrooms, and I'm not harming anyone, but yet I can do serious jail time for that. So I had like this full-on hallucination that I was surrounded by police and that they were coming to get me for simply being in this state of mind. But instead of letting it distract me and pull me out of the trance that I was getting in, I simply spun around the room doing my Tai Chi and somehow hit them with things and blocked them and took their weapons from them and came back to the center of the room. And by the time these police realized they had no weapons when they went to reach for them, they disappeared and the hallucination disappeared, and that's also what helped me get deeper into my trance. So that was a very unique perspective for me, because I had never actually had full-on hallucinations manifest in front of me like that, and the way that I dealt with them just shows that in life I'm trying to move beyond my fears. So hopefully that idea might be able to help somebody out there. you know, I think that's all I got for right now. Again, like I said, I really apologize for not making a video in the last month and a half, almost 2 months now. There's just been a lot going on, and I think I've got myself fixed, so hopefully I can start doing a video for you every day. I'd like to do a video here so you can get my wife's point of view on it also, and maybe she can help me bring up some ideas that I'm leaving out. And also there was a painting I spoke of that she did from our first Indian crystal trip that I would like to show everybody. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys stay groovy.